What's your name and what's your game?
My name is Matt Gambell, and my current game is Living the Deal, which is a business management life sim.
How is that affecting your GDC experience right now?
Oh, that's an interesting question. So it's been on hold for a while because of some sort of work I've had for the past year. But hopefully later this year I'll be sort of getting stuck back into the game. And being at GDC is just sort of really inspiring and exciting to sort of help grow the studio and see how perhaps some changes could be made to the game to sort of help get it more interesting or more available to sort of other people to play.
So are you doing a lot of like business meetings or like publisher meetings or investor meetings, stuff like that during GDC? And when you do that, does pitching a game about like a business sim, does that always get a joke or a laugh out of?
Yeah. There's always a sort of like, oh, so you're basically just making a capitalist simulator, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, but it's a spin-off. You know, it's more lighthearted, and the way I explain the game is essentially The Sims meets Monopoly, but with a sort of narrative twist of Harvest Moon, with that sort of lighthearted relationship management type stuff that goes on in those games. And yeah, I've got a few meetings here. Mostly I'm just sort of attending talks and catching up with people because this is my second game, so I came to GDC for the first time about 2 years ago when I launched RPG Tycoon, which is my first game, and that's when I was sort of green to the industry and really started to meet people on this side of the coast. And so now it's sort of a case of just coming back and being excited to continue working. And yeah, there's a couple of meetings to pitch to a few people, but mostly it's just catching up and having sort of, coffee with people to just get a state of where everyone is, you know?
Yeah. It's always good to catch up with people and just kind of build those like familiarities.
Yeah, it's just sort of continuing possible. Yeah,
like even if you don't I met you at Develop.
Right.
You were like, if you go to a Sunday roast, get the broccoli with the cheese on it. Or was it broccoli? No, cauliflower.
Cauliflower. Yeah,
broccoli is like a East Coast or West Coast US thing. And it was great.
Yeah, cauliflower cheese. It's a classic. It's so good with gravy.
I ate so many Sunday roasts. I was doubling up. Like
so
I doubled up most days because it would start at like noon, and I could get in, get my Sunday roast, go do whatever, and then go
have
back
another Sunday
6.
roast.
Yeah.
Did you change the meat though? That you had
I did a bit. I mean, like I'm a beef. Kind of a beef
beef
guy.
roast is good.
Yeah, and that's kind of what like my dad often does, like Sunday roasts as, or not even a Sunday roast, but roast meat on Sundays.
Yeah.
Without even knowing it's a thing. But I did like the variety of meat. That's something that, I mean, in North America, it's kind of not a thing.
Yeah.
Like people don't normally want to give you like a little bit of multiple things. It's kind of like all or nothing.
Yeah, if you go to a carvery, you'll get sort of one slice of every type of meat.
Yeah, and that was probably the best because it was like, like having the chicken and the lamb and the beef.
Yeah.
Like, though not a lot of roast pork.
No, it depends where you go. You can get roast pork, but I guess it's just sort of harder to get, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's sort of more common for, like chicken or turkey, and then beef and lamb.
Yeah.
Sort of more common for a Sunday roast.
And I had, and I was on a mission to eat as much UK food as possible. I got a bit burnt out on the breakfast because I was there for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, that's a lot of blood pudding, and it's fine. I like it, but it's like...
Blood pudding? You have blood pudding for breakfast?
A lot, yeah.
Where were you?
Everywhere. I don't know.
It's not that common, sort of South UK.
Well, I was in Brighton, and then I went to Dorchester, CJ Burger, and then I went to Birmingham, and then I went to Cambridge, and then I went to Glasgow, and then I went to Edinburgh, and then I went to...
It's still quite rare for somebody to have blood pudding for breakfast.
And no, isn't that... Really?
Yeah.
Everybody had it.
No, it's extremely rare to have blood pudding for
breakfast. Why are they serving it at every breakfast?
Are they?
Like, it was like eggs, and then like ham or sausage, and then like the blood pudding, and then like potato, like hash browns and stuff like that.
That's strange.
Everywhere.
Where were you?
Like in Dorchester, there were these South Africans running a bed and breakfast and blood pudding, and it was
That's
like
weird.
That's so weird that I had it. Maybe it's like a thing where, like in Canada, you're not going to have like eggs Benedict every day.
You tend to have you won't really have a fry up every day. That's sort of a Saturday morning type thing that you'd have a British fry up. Yeah. Most breakfasts are just sort of cereal or something on toast.
I did that in Cambridge because I had Airbnb, so I bought like groceries and did that for a little bit.
Cheese on toast is a great way to start the day.
Yeah, I mean in general, Europe, way better breakfast at hotels.
Yeah, the one thing I don't understand about American breakfast is having potatoes, like fried potatoes for breakfast. That's strange to me.
Really?
Yeah.
But aren't hash... You guys do hash browns.
Like hash browns, but that's about it. But here you get sort of mini roast potatoes for breakfast. It's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's even a difference between Canada. Like, I'm from Canada, so even then it's like here, biscuits are rampant. And we don't even have biscuits really a lot. And
they're essentially scones.
We do English muffins. Which are not English. They're like...
They're sort of like scones as well.
They're like they're in between a toast. But your guys' scone game was...
Scones are good.
Much better.
Yeah, they're good.
Like, scones are really kind of shit all throughout North America. And in the UK, you guys figured out how to make it not immensely dry.
I love this just derived about us just talking about food. That's amazing.
Yeah, but so second time at GDC.
Yes.
What GDC advice, popular thing on Twitter. I don't know if you posted about it. It's been a common topic of either thinking it's great, making fun of it. But what have you improved this time to GDC versus your first time at GDC?
Ooh, so what, do you mean what's better at GDC here, or
like you personally, your trip? Like, what did you learn and go like, oh well, no, the move is like come Sunday.
Well, I did the train jam first year, but also because of that, I just wanted to do the train jam, and that sort of starts in Chicago 3 days before GDC, and gets in on Saturday morning.
And that saves you a bit on the flight.
Sorry?
The flight.
Yeah, exactly. So you fly slightly less to Chicago. And actually, the first year I did that on a whim, not realizing that it ended at GDC. And then I was like, oh, I guess I should sort of sort out plans for GDC. Because I was just going to go do it for 3 days and then fly home. I was like, weird. I guess I'll stay for... Because I just thought it was a cool thing.
You might as well.
And then I was like, oh, actually, that sort of times GDC. I see the point of it now. So the first year I didn't have anything. I sort of was really unprepared and just got an expo pass, which actually ended up being okay, because the cool thing about GDC is we're currently stood in the like atrium area, and there's just people walking past all the time. So if you don't have a pass to get into any talks or anything, you can just hang out in the expo area and then the atriums, and there's enough to do and enough people to see that you sort of end up doing that, and then someone's like, hey, do you want to get lunch? And you're like, yeah, let's go hang out. And then you just meet people constantly. It's a constant sort of barrage of new faces and, new network relationship type stuff that you can build, and that's exciting. This time I bought an actual pass because I'm a bit further along as a studio and I want to learn a bit more things, so I got in early. I got the early bird pass and managed to get sort of a relatively cheap Indie Summit pass.
What about like accommodation? Like, did you switch that at all? Are you doing the Indie hostel?
No. Yeah. So I mean, the first time I did it, I got an Airbnb with a few friends of mine. This time I sort of just got a hotel.
Yeah. There was a lot of people getting cancelled Airbnbs.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense, right? If somebody's that's the thing with San Francisco, is that it's so in demand.
I think there's something you can do with the reviews. I think you could.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like looking at reviews, you could kind of maybe gauge that a little bit better.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I like Airbnb, but I think in times like this, where it's so busy, and I'm sort of somebody who likes the ability to just go to a hotel room and like have everything all sorted. Especially as well, you don't spend that much time at the place.
Yeah.
So it depends if you want to, if you want somewhere where you can actually just relax, then I find hotels are good for that because everything's catered, so to speak, right?
I mean, I think it's kind of like it's a mix of because like with Airbnb, you could stay a little bit away from the convention center, but still close to it. But you're not surrounded by hotels, so then all the breakfast spots are not completely slammed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I like the convenience of knowing that I can wake up and then 5 minutes later I can rock up to the talk that I want to go to in the morning. That's
like
good.
The sleep is super valuable.
Yeah, especially when you're up to sort of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. So getting that extra hour sleep is pretty useful. So yeah.
So when did you make the shirts for the game? Like, it seems like you're pretty committed to the name now with the shirts.
Yeah, we have we started working on the game started working on the game straight after RPG Tycoon, so sort of early 2016, but really started pushing it towards the end of the year that year. And we were taking prototypes and stuff. And I think at that point we had the logo. I'm probably going to change the logo slightly. The name's good, but the game's sort of moved a bit since that first.
It's less business card focused.
Yeah, well, I mean the cool thing about it is the business card. It needs to also add in the life sim stuff. So making it a bit more of a flourish to the business cards, I think is probably the better thing. Maybe having some characters on the logo, but the logo is different from what we might end up using for the game art. So, the promo art will probably have characters on and a bit more of the maybe stats, icons and these sort of things to just show that life sim side of it. But the business card is sort of inherent to the main mechanic of the game of doing the trading. So That's how you're making money in the game. So I think that was the first thing we wanted to convey when we were trying around with the name and the. I mean, originally the game was called Dealmaker, and then it felt like wrong. I wanted to get that essence of life sim and also business management. And I think just sort of living the deal is the best way to meet that. So I mean, I'm open. We've always spoken about it, and people are like, "Oh, I love the name," and people are like, "I hate the name."
Yeah.
And that's the thing with indie games, I think, or just games in general, is the name should be good enough to invoke kind of what the game is, and to me that's what the name does, and then you've got to use the screenshots and everything else to sell the game, right? Tim Wixie did a really good talk on that, of sort of nailing the name to give a good enough impression to get them to click through to then see the rest of it, you know.
And I feel like, I don't know how humorous your game is, either intentionally or just situationally. It's going to be funny because it's a life sim and life happens.
Yeah.
When you are not living it, it's then funny.
Yeah.
I think the name is, like, if somebody said that that's what they were doing with their life, I would think that they were like very lame.
Yes.
And like a business and like a business bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so I think it's like it's a catchy enough name that it, like, if that's what you're going for, if you're like if you're making like satire on
pretty much. Yeah, it's a light-hearted business sim. You know, it's like all of the characters it's a super satirical attitude towards capitalism in general. But you're perpetuating a character inside of that, which is why I quite like that idea that you end up falling just into this business world, and we're just sort of. Yeah, I mean, the very British thing for me is just take the piss out of stuff quite a lot.
Yeah, and so I think it's also like, I think it's the thing also with the American dream. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like there's something about the Commonwealth and the UK where it's like we view America in a certain way that we can relate to, but to Americans they don't.
Exactly.
And it's like, I think it's like American satire is almost best done by outside of
well, look at GTA. I mean, like the Scotland-based devs just like creating a version of America that Americans love, yet is inherently just massive satire of the American dream, right?
Yeah, like it's such a weird part.
Especially in San Francisco, like it's one thing I noticed is you see sort of just people talking to each other in the street, having those conversations. In the rest of the world, that's absurd. But in GTA, when you walk past and you hear the NPCs and they're like shouting at each other and berating each other and stuff, you're like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, but that's the game. And then you come to San Francisco and you're like, oh, that's America.
Yeah, like you make jokes about like hoverboards and like electronic skateboards and scooters and all that, and then you get here and you see it and you're like, I mean, but then it's like, I don't know, like I live where like Lululemon was created, so it's like the yoga, like I don't even comprehend like how nuts it looks seeing everybody in like yoga tights.
That's true.
On a street.
I mean, obviously, it's the same thing in Britain, right? Like, I'm sure there's stuff that we take for granted every day, and people come and go, "That's weird."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like everybody I talked to was funny in the UK. Like every single person I thought was funny. Like it was just
good funny. I hope.
Like just going on cathedral tours and like the grandmas like taking the piss out of the tour guide who had like all these tattoos and lived a crazy life before becoming like a like cathedral tour guide. And it's just like this is great. Well, thanks for being on the Question Bus.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
And what do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check out what we're doing, then head over to skitanicstudios.co.uk or livingthedeal.com, and you can sign up to the newsletter if you want to hear more about the game, and we'll keep you up to date.
And do you have any social media?
Yes, I do. I'm Matt Gambell, just MattGambell.
You ever thought about putting gamble in the... Because like business is somewhat of a gamble.
Maybe. I mean, I don't like the sort of egotistical side of naming things, so I quite like, but yeah, it's just Matt Gambell on Twitter or Skitanic Studios on Twitter as well. And one or the other is fine.